Hi, I'm Beau and I'm a McLaren fan.
Hi, I'm Beau's dad, John, and I'm a McLaren fan.
So this is the F1 episode. Today we've got a lot to cover. The season starts start of March,
March, yeah.
and we've got pre-season testing end of February in Bahrain. So there's a lot to cover. We've got five or six new
Six.
rookies,
Six new
six new
rookies.
rookies. So yeah, we'll go through everything today. Go through the lineup, who's come in and come out staff wise. Any new.
Yep, a couple of those rookies
Yeah.
are driving potentially championship winning cars. So, and that's six new rookies this season. Interesting mix that.
Yeah, and we had the headliner of Lewis Hamilton joining Ferrari, which has obviously been a year on now from when that was first announced.
Yep.
So just to start off, what do you think is going to happen with him at Ferrari?
I personally, we just briefly discussed just before we was going to do this video. I don't think it's going to go that well.
Really?
I don't think it is.
Okay. I think with Ferrari, their cars haven't been too good the past few seasons.
There was similar to Mercedes, weren't they? There was there and thereabouts where Mercedes were. I don't think he's going to get much better joy at Ferrari as what he was his last season at Mercedes. Could be wrong, but that's just my personal opinion.
I mean, he's 40 years old now. Like, yeah. I think he's obviously getting nearer to the end of his career. So, yeah, we'll see what happens anyway.
Yeah.
So we'll go for the starting lineup. The season lineup for the 2025 season. So we'll start with Red Bull. We have Max Verstappen and new rookie. He was for half of the season last year.
Liam Lawson.
Yeah. I like Liam Lawson.
Yeah, he's all right.
I don't know, now that Adrian Newey's left Red Bull and gone to Aston Martin, I don't know how their cars are going to be.
Well, for me, I remember Adrian Newey when he was at McLaren back in the 90s, and he developed that car for my favourite driver, Mick Hakkinen, and David Coulthard. He's an excellent design engineer. Yeah. He's awesome. I think, Aston Martin have poached a real good designer there, let's see what they bring to the table with a new car this year with Adrian.
I think Red Bull have lost out massively there with that.
Absolutely,
because we know that Adrian Newey was one of the massive reasons why Max won their World Championships and Red Bull win their Constructors Championships. So
everywhere the man goes, the teams tend to win. And that tells you a hell of a lot. That tells you what a lot of what you need to know.
Yeah. So who's at Mercedes, Dad?
Oh, at Mercedes we have got George Russell and new rookie Andrea Kimi Antonelli.
We do. So George Russell will be stepping up into that team leader role, which will be interesting. And Kimi Antonelli now, he's just come up from F2.
Yeah.
It was his only F2 season last season. So for him to come straight up from like F2 to F1 like that is just shows how good he is.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And he has a close relationship with Mercedes team principal and CEO Toto Wolff. So there'll be something going on there with that. What do you think is going to happen at Mercedes?
George, I'm not a big fan of George Russell, but to be fair to the guy, he put some good races together there, and he seems comfortable in that car. And Mercedes haven't always got it correct. If they get it right, I don't particularly like to admit it, but I could actually see George Russell potentially challenging for the title this year.
Really?
Yeah, I can. Yeah,
That's a big prediction.
that's if
It
Mercedes
is
get
a
the.
massive
That's if
prediction.
only if Mercedes get the car right.
Yeah,
Because when the car was running right, he was up there with he
yeah,
was up there with Max and the likes of Lando and the Ferraris. Well, they was ahead of the Ferraris. So yeah, that's could be a surprise potential challenger there
yeah.
if Mercedes get the car right.
I think I agree with you there, but that's obviously depending on, like I said, how Mercedes do their new challenger for this year. So I reckon they're going to be up there.
Mm.
I think they'll be around with Ferrari and McLaren and all them more.
And how do you think Antonelli's going to fit in?
Ooh, I think he's got a good kind of leader.
Because you watch F2, don't you? And
yeah.
did you? How was he performing
even in
F2?
his first season in F2 it was amazing.
Okay.
So it would definitely be very tough. We all know that F1's a tough.
Yeah, it's a different, but it's a big jump from F2. It's a lot for the even though the guys are used to it in F2, it's a big jump to F1 from there. So
yeah, like he's 18 years old and he's in F1.
Yeah.
He's like, I think he's like 3 days younger than me or something, which is weird to think about. But yeah, I think as young as he is, that is massive.
Yeah.
I think he'll have a good leader in George Russell. I think I don't know. It's obviously depending on the car, but I think he'll do decent.
Yeah, it all depends on how he gets to grips with the car.
Yeah.
And how, like you said, his age. So he is a rookie. He's very young. As we all know in F1, mistakes can be made, and a lot of them are usually down to inexperience. So it just depends on what maturity he's got within himself, I think.
Yeah.
To apply himself to the car and the races. Yeah. And watch this space. Who's the next one, Beau?
So we have McLaren. We have unchanged drivers lineup. We have our favourite Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri. Yep. I'm wearing my McLaren jumper today. So yeah, I think with McLaren obviously just winning their constructors. There's going to be a lot on the table. They just unleashed their new 2025 Challenger today, and that looked decent. It was at Silverstone as well. So
I haven't seen it. I read a little snippet of something Lando was saying. They've changed a lot on the car.
Right.
This new car. He says there's a lot of small changes. As far as the lineup hasn't changed much. There's not a lot to choose between Oscar and Lando.
Yeah.
Like you said, we're both Lando fans, and I think we both agree that Lando's all-around game needs cleaning up. Yeah. His grid starts that letting down the lot last year. If you just look back at some of those races, if he got the grid starts right and was a bit more assertive in the first corner, I think a couple of them races could have gone very differently for him. Do you know what I mean? So if he can brush up his all-round get, because once he gets into the race, he tends to grow into the race, I think.
Yeah.
And then becomes more untouchable. Whereas I think he needs to be a bit more like, and we're going off piste a bit here, a bit more like Max, a bit more rounded, better all round. Yeah. And if he can get that this year, I think he's going to be pretty untouchable. Oscar, yeah,
Oscar's up there.
Oh, he's definitely up there, and he's certainly on par with Lando.
Yeah,
I don't think he's quite as good, but you never know.
Lando's won more races than Oscar last year, which I think Lando will do the same again. Mm-hmm. I think, fingers crossed, I'm hoping this car is better than Red Bull now that Newey's gone.
If they peak Red Bull, I could see the constructors again going to McLaren.
And I think we're both secretly hoping for Orlando
Oh
World
yeah,
Championship, aren't we?
I'd love Lando to land
Is
his
that
first
realistically
championship this
gonna
year.
happen? Maybe, if they carry on from last season, maybe.
If they can carry on where they left off from last season, but we've got all new cars this year.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't think we're going to know really until we've
Yeah,
watched testing and maybe watched a couple of races,
yeah. So who do we have next, Dad?
We have got, so who have we covered? We've covered McLaren, we've covered Mercedes. We'll go for Ferrari, shall we?
Yeah.
One of the top teams.
Who's a Ferrari?
We have got a new driver at Ferrari, Lewis Hamilton with Charles Leclerc.
I think that's got to be my favourite pairing.
Yeah.
I think it is.
Okay.
Like I said before, if Ferrari don't have a tractor for this season, I think they'll do brilliantly.
I think you're right, yeah.
I think, especially with Lewis Hamilton in one of their cars as well, I think they'll go flying.
I think Charles will. I think Charles is up there for the title if they got the car right.
Yeah.
Lewis, I'm not overly convinced.
Are you only saying that because you don't like him?
I'm trying to look at it from a non-objective point of view. Yes, I mean the man's won how many world titles?
7.
7 world titles. So his record's there to be reckoned. Can't be argued with. But I think a bit of disillusionment at Mercedes, and unfortunately, Father Time catches up with all of us.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's going to be as good a season as he's hoping it to be.
Right.
That's as fair comment as I can put on that.
Yeah. But yeah, I said this to you before. So at testing in Barcelona, he crashed, didn't he? But when it was in his McLaren debut, I think it was 2007, he crashed in testing, then won the championship the year before, and then when it was its Mercedes debut, he crashed in testing again, and then won like the next 6 seasons. And then now that he's crashed in testing, will he win the championship this year or next year? Is it just a big coincidence?
No, I personally think he's too old. You never forget how to drive, especially if you're one of the greats like that. But it's brutal.
Yeah.
It is a young man's game.
Yeah.
And to be that switched on that amount of the time over the period of a season, I think is probably going to tell towards the second half of the season for him. Especially if he doesn't get to grips with the car, I think he's going to find it tougher than the younger ones.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to say that from a non-biased point of view. Who have we got next, Beau?
So we have the second unchanged pairing is Aston Martin. We have Fernando Alonso and Lance Stroll.
Aston Martin, yes.
Now, I do see the point of Lance Stroll still being there, even though I know his dad's
his dad's the boss.
Owner of it, but
his dad's the
he's
boss.
a bit shit.
He's there. He's got a seat. Is he going to make any difference? Probably not.
No, but now that they have Adrian Newey, I think that might make a big difference to their cars. Now that we know that he made big differences in Red Bull.
Oh, absolutely. Everywhere Newey's been, he's made a massive difference. And he's created some awesome, winning cars. Adrian has. He is definitely going to make a lot of difference to that team.
Yeah.
I can't remember where they finished last season, Aston Martin. I should imagine they're probably going to be a little bit better than what they were last season. But as far as the drivers go, I mean, we've both just touched. We both just touched on Lance Stroll and Fernando. another great driver.
Yeah, I was going to say we like Alonso, don't we?
Yeah, but same as Lewis. He's the granddad on the grid.
Yeah.
He's the old man. For as good as he is,
he's like, as long with Lewis, he's one of the most experienced drivers on that grid.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, as far as I know, much to say on Aston Martin apart from go Adrian. You're going to make a massive difference to that Aston Martin team. Whether the two drivers are going to bring that, to the table as well, I don't think they are. I think they might end up a little bit better off on points than they were last season, but not a massive jump, I don't think.
Yeah.
I think they would if they had two other drivers.
Right, yeah.
Okay. So
who's next, Dad?
We've not mentioned the other big team yet. Red Bull, Max Verstappen.
No, we have.
Have we?
Yes.
Oh, sorry. Do apologise. Right, okay. We'll go for Alpine.
Alpine, okay. Got another rookie.
Yeah, Pierre Gasly, along with Jack Doohan, if I pronounce that right.
So this is one of the teams that I can't really comment that much on. But Pierre Gasly, Frenchman, he's not bad in the car, but I feel like with Alpine being one of like the lower teams, with that lower budget, we don't know what's going to happen. I think Alpine were at least middle to lower table last season, weren't they? So
yeah, they do, and they've had a couple of incidents, haven't they?
Yeah.
Good seat for Jack Doohan now. Good starting place, to apply himself to see how good he can be.
Yeah, and I think with Jack Doohan, I've obviously seen him in F2. He's a good little driver.
Okay.
I think he'll be good in Alpine.
How old is he, Beau? Do we know?
He is 2021.
2021, okay.
So he's a young driver. Yeah, I think he'll do decent, especially with Alpine being one of the lower cars for him to start out in F1. I think that would be a good little car for him to get used to being in F1.
Yeah.
And getting used to all the tracks. So
to be a chance for the teams, especially obviously the one that he's driving for, and other teams, potentially to see what a talent he is, because if he does turn out to be a good talent, you can guarantee some of the more upper mid-table teams will be looking to poach him if he, applies himself well.
Yeah, and I believe that Jack Doohan is also Alpine Academy driver, so he does know.
So he knows the
people at Alpine.
He knows so it's not like he's going in fresh.
Yeah.
So he will know a lot of the backroom staff and what have you, the teams and team principal and that. So okay, who we got next, Beau?
So next we have Williams. They had I think it's the first team that have like a non-appendix team, which is a really weird fact. But both Alex Albon and Carlos Sainz have no appendix, which is a weird fact. But yeah, right. Carlos Sainz moving from Ferrari to Williams. I think we will both agree on this. It's a bit of a downgrade.
It is a bit of a downgrade, and I think, if I remember from last season, I have got a little bit of a different opinion on Carlos Sainz than what you have.
Really?
Yeah, I tend to like Carlos.
I do like Carlos.
I rate him.
Yeah.
And I think it's a bit, no disrespect to Williams, because of the teams that they've put together in the past, Williams, they used to be up there.
Yeah. They're not anymore.
They're not anymore, no. But I think they've, for as much as I think it's a backward step for Carlos, I think it's a forward step for Williams.
Right, okay.
Yeah. And I think with Carlos, he is going to make the difference in that Williams team.
Okay.
Definitely, I'm going to push myself out here, and I'm going to say they're going to be upper middle team.
How are you saying that? Right. We knew that Williams were shocking last year. They were shit. And with their cars as well, they were right at the bottom. And with No, that Alex Albon will be.
Well, I'll revise that. Okay. Definitely a middle two. With Carlos Sainz, I'm reckoning they're going to be a middle two.
Again, that's depending on the car.
Yeah.
And I know that this car is going to be shit.
You don't know. Some of the top teams' cars might be bad.
Yeah,
We don't know.
lower budget. Think about it.
I'm just going by past experience of knowing Williams, and I know that they can, if they get it right, hopefully they will. And with Carlos Sainz, I'm pushing my neck out here, and I'm going to say they're going to be middle table.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's your prediction.
I mean, we can reflect on this video mid-season and go, you know, John, you was completely wrong. You didn't call that right. But, you know, time will tell.
Yeah.
Who have we got next, Beau?
So next we have the Racing Bulls team, the sister team to
Red Bull. Yeah, Yuki Tsunoda and
Isaac Hadjar, another rookie.
Another rookie. I know absolutely nothing
Yuki
about
Tsunoda,
Isaac.
He's not bad of a driver.
I like Yuki.
I love his team radio though. The constant swearing is just like it makes.
And they all got in trouble for that last year, didn't they? And
Max got a thingy for it. He had to do like community service.
I know it's live TV, and I know there's a younger audience out there.
They wanted the FIA are thinking of removing team radios.
No, that for me that would absolutely ruin it.
That's a bit stupid.
It would ruin it. I think it keeps it real, and I also think it gives, because if you're at home, if you haven't got the luxury of affording to go to these races, then you're sat at home or in the pub watching F1 or whatever, and if you're a big F1 fan, I think the team radios, they give you a feeling for what the driver's feeling inside the car.
But it's quite like authentic with the team radios.
Oh yeah, I think now they've got that there. Yeah. I think it would completely ruin it. You know, if they said no more team radio,
it will ruin it.
I mean, they've got the chance to. It doesn't have to be bang on live. I mean, you've got a couple of options there. You can either basically clamp down on the drivers and say, look, you can say what you want, but don't swear.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or do like what we know that they do, is there's a little bit of a time lag on it, because what they say doesn't always match up with where they are in the race.
Yeah.
You know, for me, don't lose the radios. It keeps it real for the audience at home, gives you a feeling for what the drivers are feeling in the car. Probably just say clean your language up a little bit.
Yeah.
You know,
just tell them to don't swear. I know that'll be difficult for Yuki, but
yeah, I think it's difficult for a lot of them, because
I know it'll be like,
especially in intense races where there's a lot of heat, you know, and there's a lot of high stress and frustration in that. But no, I'm a big fan of the team radio.
Yes, so am I. Again, back to Racing Bulls. New rookie Isaac Hadjar. He's obviously just come up from F2. He's been decent in F2. He's been really good. So I'm hoping with him being in a small car for Racing Bulls, I think it'll be decent.
Okay. I don't know much about him, to be honest with you. So
yeah. Right, shall we quickly go through for the last two? So Haas, we have new Esteban Ocon, and my favourite, Ollie Behrman.
So we're going to keep this short, you know.
So,
well, I'll kick off by just saying I don't want to steal your line, but Ollie had the privilege last season, didn't he? Because if I remember rightly, sorry, I've got that many names running around my head. Just bear with me 2 seconds. He covered for Carlos Sainz, didn't he? Because I think I remember rightly, he had appendicitis.
He also covered for Haas as well.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, so
he has had the luxury of actually driving the F1 car last season, hasn't he? And being, you know, competitive in races.
Because he's been driving like the Haas cars and the Ferrari cars, he's actually no longer considered as a rookie.
Yeah.
but this is his full first season in an F1 car, so I would say he's a rookie.
Yeah, it's a full-time gig.
Yeah.
It's a full-time seat. You know, it's not part-time. I'll come in and just show him what I can do. Now he's got to apply that over the full season.
Yeah.
So
we have new Esteban Ocon coming in from Alpine.
Oh right, Ocon's moved from Alpine, has he?
I think so, yeah.
Right. That's going to be an interesting pairing then. I like Ocon.
He is good.
I like Ocon.
Another Frenchman. I think it's nice to see him not being paired up with Gasly, because we know that Ocon and Gasly had a little bit, even though they were both French, they had a little bit of a rivalry, even with being teammates.
There was a bit of friction.
Yeah, there was.
Yeah, there was a bit of friction.
So with him, I think he will be team leader and a mentor for Ollie.
Yeah.
So it would be nice to see that pairing. I think it'll be really nice.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping with all the crap that Haas has gone through with their cars, they don't have Gunther Steiner in there anymore. So I'm hoping they do decent this year. Whether that's going to happen realistically, I don't know. But obviously, Ollie Behrman, he's brilliant in F2.
He is
brilliant.
He is good, and I think he'll apply himself well at Haas. He as a driver, I think, will get the best out of that car.
Yeah.
The car won't get the best out of him. He will get the best out of the car, if you know what I mean. Because I think, you know, if you took the qualities of the car and the qualities of the driver, I personally think the driver has got better qualities than the car, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I'm hoping they do well. I'm hoping they do really well. So, last one. Who is it?
We've got Sauber and Nico Hülkenberg and Gabriel Bortoletto, new rookie.
So, Nico Hülkenberg, he's just moved from Haas to Sauber, which I thought is an interesting one, because I thought he would stay. I definitely thought he would stay at Haas.
Yeah, I think he has too many incidents.
Oh yeah, that is true.
I think he has too many incidents. Yeah. I like Nico.
He's not a bad driver, but he's not a good driver either. He's a bit one of them drivers that are in the middle.
Yeah, he's in the middle, and if he's having a good race, he's having a good race.
Yeah.
But if he's having a bad race, oh boy, he's having a bad race.
Yeah, I think with new rookie Gabriel Bortoletto, I think if I remember correctly, he won the F2 season last year, so he's obviously going to keep up with all.
Yeah, I mean, okay, you say I didn't know that, but with you saying that, I mean, it's a bit of a shame that he's gone into you know, a team like Sauber.
Yeah.
Maybe a bit more of an upper team probably would have, been a bit more of an advantage for him.
Yeah.
Because a bit like we're going back to the Behrman, he's probably going to be. The car's not going to get the best out of him. He's going
to get the best out of the car.
Yeah, not the other way around. I think there. But like you say, all six rookies. It's the first season. Just give them a chance to cut the teeth and see, how the season's going to be.
Yeah. So I'll quickly run through the calendar. We won't go into detail for each race. But so March 14th to the 16th, we have Australia.
Australia starts with Australia, doesn't it?
That's a new thing because, as first race, I mean, because we normally, I believe, would normally have Bahrain for the first race.
Oh, I've got my wires crossed here. I mean, as time's passed, I seem to remember Australia or Canada always being the first race.
Yeah.
Could be wrong.
That's obviously it's Australia, so that's 4 a.m. for us. So Our
I'll be
first
up.
race in the UK is a 4 a.m. start.
Well, I get up at 1 a.m. to go to work anyway, so 4 a.m. I'll be
But
getting
for
you.
me, I think you knew that I'll set my alarm for an early race, and I'll go back to sleep. you try and wake me up, and I'm like, no, I'm staying in bed.
Number 2.
So it's the first sprint weekend, which is China, and it lights out at 7 a.m. for us.
A bit better.
And then next we have Japan. That's another. That's 6 a.m. Then a week later is Bahrain.
You see, I always remember Japan being one of the last ones years ago. Yeah, Japan used to be the last race years ago.
Oh, yeah. So yeah, a week later we have Bahrain. Yeah, it would usually kick off the season, but they've done it later because of Ramadan.
Okay.
So that's a 4 p.m. race start, and then next we have Saudi Arabia, and that had been pushed back because of the same reason as well. That's a 6 p.m. start time.
Is that a night race, Saudi?
Yes, it is 6 p.m.
Bahrain, isn't it? Yeah, I think that's because of the heat, isn't it? Yeah. They've got to do them at night, haven't they?
And next we have the first of the third America races, which is Miami. That's another sprint weekend.
We must have mid-season break then, don't we, after those, because they got to move all the equipment and stuff from that side of the world to the other side of the world.
That's a 9 p.m. lights out for us, so that's a late one. And then next is the first of 2 Italy races.
Imola.
The Emilia Romagna.
Imola.
That's the one. That is 2 p.m. for us.
There's Imola and what's the other one?
Imola and I
can't remember. They didn't track of the other one.
I have it down as well. Monza.
Monza, that's it. Yeah, Monza.
Next we have iconic track Monaco.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
I don't mind Monaco. It's not that
never
bad.
have been.
I think because it's iconic easy, as it is.
It's easy on the screen, but it doesn't make for a very interesting race. And I'm sorry, F1 fans out there, if you would disagree with me, but
so that is the closing race for the month of May. That's a 2 p.m. start. Then May into June is Spanish Grand Prix. That's at 2 p.m. 2 weeks later is Canada, and that's 7 p.m. lights out. 2 weeks later is Austria, the Red Bull Ring. That's 2 p.m. for us. And then our favourite track, Silverstone. And have you not seen this? That Lando's done a whole thing where it's called the Lando stand. So he's done like sold out tickets. All of his fans will be in fluoro green.
Oh, okay.
And I feel like Lewis might have done the same thing, I think. But
competing for fans, eh?
Yeah. So that's a 3 p.m. lights out. I believe you'll be on holiday. Well, you'll be on holiday, won't you? Start of July.
Yes.
So you'll be on holiday when you watch that.
Oh.
And then next is the next sprint weekend is Belgium. That's a 2 p.m. race start. Next we have Hungary at the Hungaroring. That kicks off the month of August. Yeah. We like Hungary, don't we?
Yeah, we like Hungary. Yeah.
Next we have the Dutch GP. That's a 2 p.m. kickoff. And then the second and last Italy GP is Monza. That will kick off the start of September. Next we have Azerbaijan. Am I saying that right?
Yeah, Azerbaijan, yeah.
Yep, that's 2 weeks later, and that's a 12 p.m. race start, so that's midday. Next is Singapore. That'll start the month of October. That's a 1 p.m. race start. Then next is the USA GP.
I was wondering when we was going to get to the Americas. How many races are in America this year?
3.
It's 3, okay.
There's Miami, this USA one. I can't remember where it is.
Oh, and they did. Are they still doing is it Las Vegas one?
Yep.
Yeah. That's a street circuit, isn't it?
Yeah. So this second USA GP is another sprint weekend. That's at 8 p.m. for us. Right. That's another late one. Next is Mexico.
Mexico.
If Mexico is like another Max and
I,
Lando
I, I,
crash
like,
thing.
I love the Mexican track. I don't know why. I like the way the track goes in between the stands.
Yeah,
I'm old enough to remember. It looks very 70s to me. That does, like
yeah,
old-fashioned F1. I don't know. I just got a liking for the
yeah.
track.
Then next is the Brazil Grand Prix. That's another sprint weekend. That's 5 p.m. for us. Then the last American GP is Las Vegas. That's been on the calendar for 3 years running, so it's still a pretty new race. That's 4 a.m. race start
Yeah,
for us.
I'm
That's a
not.
very early
Yeah,
one.
I'm not a massive fan of street circuits.
Um,
I don't think they give them the chance to race very well. And
I feel like I think in the past that would have been later for us, but they changed the time so that American viewers in the Eastern time zone can watch it. So I
yeah,
do think it was originally,
they'll cater for the bigger audience.
yeah.
And
So the penultimate,
the last race
yeah,
is
Qatar. That's
Qatar.
the last sprint weekend of the season. That's 4 p.m. race start, and then the last is the classic Abu Dhabi.
Okay.
That always proves to be an amazing race, and that's a 1 p.m. lights out.
So, Beau, we'll wrap it up with, if you want to, predictions. No?
Yeah.
So I'll let you. What do you want to do? Constructors or drivers? Take your pick.
Well, I haven't. Actually, yeah, I have. We'll go constructors.
You go
First.
constructors. Okay.
I said McLaren.
You think McLaren's going to win constructors? I'm in agreement with you there.
Yeah.
I am. Yeah. Who's going to come second and third?
I reckon Red Bull's gonna. Actually,
It's a tough one, isn't it? That.
I reckon Ferrari second.
Yeah, even though I've slated Lewis Hamilton, and I don't think he's going to have such an amazing season as I think he is. I think you're correct. I think Ferrari are going to be second.
Yeah. So maybe either Red Bull or Mercedes third.
I'm going to go Red Bull.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to go Red Bull third. McLaren, Ferrari, and Red Bull. Yeah. What about drivers?
Who's going to be your world champion?
This year, my world champion, fingers crossed, is going to be none other than Lando Norris.
That's what I've said. Lando Norris for world champion for the first ever time. Yeah. I really hope that happens.
We could be eating humble pie halfway through the season, but we both want it to happen, don't we?
I'll go ballistic if that happens. Like,
Yeah.
Right, who's second and third?
Second and third. Okay, so we've said Ferrari coming in second place, didn't we?
Yeah.
And if Lando doesn't win the championship, we want him to, I think you're probably going to be looking at Charles.
I was literally going to say Charles, yeah.
I think Charles, he's either going to be second or it's going to be a switcheroo. It's either going to be Charles or Lando first and second for me. What about third, Beau?
I'm going to go with Max Verstappen third.
Yeah, I think, we've forgotten Max, really, haven't we? And we forget actually how good of a driver he is.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to have the car under him, what they have had in the last few seasons.
Yeah, I think.
But
we know that with last season, they had a little bit of a dip in form, didn't they?
Yeah.
So
it's just the other teams had caught them up. The other teams had caught them up.
I do hope that dip in form continues because I'm not that keen on Red Bull. Well, it's more like I'm not keen on Max Verstappen because.
Okay. He has his moments, doesn't he? I do like Max, but he does have his moments where
I just think he's a little bit of a knob, to put it lightly.
But I like him because he is a very good all-round driver, but I'm not too keen on. I'm a HGV driver, not the same, but I'm not particularly too keen on drivers who get their arse out basically when it's
Yeah.
not going their way.
That's why I don't like him.
That
Because,
side of it does show through with him, and that doesn't show the better side of his driving.
like, we know in Mexico last year, there was 2 clashes with Lando, right? And Max received 2 10-second penalties.
Don't get me started.
We both went mad on that because I think with Max, he can't really defend because he's always so on top with, like,
it's when it's not going his way.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And a world class world champion driver shouldn't have to resort, to push the boundaries like that. I think that I can't say it any fairer than that, really.
Yeah.
So there we go. Those are the predictions, and that, I think, is the end of the third pod, the F1 pod.
Yes. So if you enjoyed it, thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe and share around. My voice has gone now.
Yeah, mine's going as well.
So yeah, that is it. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next pod, which I think it will be football. Yeah. Actually, yeah, we'll do 2 quick predictions just for Chelsea and United games.
Okay.
So Chelsea are Brighton tomorrow. So we've obviously just got knocked out by Brighton 3-2. 2-1. The FA Cup. So
you've had a bit of dip of form, haven't you, Chelsea?
Yeah. My only hope is that because Brighton are at home, Brighton aren't very good at home. So I'm hoping we'll win it, hopefully. But yeah, I think I'm going to go with a draw. I'm going to say 1-1.
Okay.
Yeah. What do you think?
I'll go with that, a 1-1 draw.
Yeah. And then on Sunday, I believe, it is Spurs and United. So Spurs are at home. That's at the Hotspur Stadium.
2 teams struggling.
Yeah.
2 teams struggling. That, I don't know. I'm a United fan and I've just lost. I'm not very confident at the minute, to be honest with you. And I'm sure Spurs fans out there, I don't think you're too confident either. So, an unbiased scoreline. Well, there's probably going to be goals.
Yeah.
I'm going to try actually for a United win, but I don't think it's going to be convincing.
Yeah.
Maybe a 2-1 to United.
Okay. I'm going to go with a draw again. I'm going to go with 2-2. I think there could be goals, but again, with these 2 teams not being very confident, obviously their confidence will be down low. So we'll see how it goes.
Absolutely. Could I just like to point out as well, if you watched our last pod, I think I called this one correctly because I had a good giggle about it with you during the week. Plymouth Argyle beating Liverpool.
Yeah, that was real, Yeah. I could not believe that. That was like... you've got Plymouth as well.
Yeah. I think that was it was just a freak, that one was.
Quick one, the Merseyside derby last night.
2-2. 4 red cards, all at the end of the game.
I mean, it was the last Merseyside derby at Goodison because they're getting a new stadium. But what a way to end it at Goodison. Jesus Christ.
Fireworks. Absolute fireworks.
Slot got a red card.
Yeah, couldn't do his post-match interview afterwards, I believe.
Yeah.
So
I did actually see what happened, but
I didn't, to be honest with you, but all happens in the Premier League.
I think he must have said something to the ref which got him the red.
Well, yeah, he's obviously said something to the ref.
But yeah, we'll wrap it up there. Thank you very much for watching. Like I said, please like, share around and subscribe. We'll see you in the next pod. See you later.
See you next time. Bye-bye.